So, Lawrence Anderson Paul, this man is currently for 3 years old and he's in Oklahoma. He's in prison, he's in jail in Oklahoma. Now, what was his crime? 42-year-old Paul Anderson, he was in jail previously, like he had been in jail several times. Like he was into the sales of drugs, was into like there's also this account that says that was a child abuser and all of that. They have gone to jail several times. And then in 2017, he went back, he was sent back to jail again in the state of Oklahoma because he he was under probation, and then he was seen with he was armed. He was seen with firearms, possession of firearms and drugs. So he was taken back to jail. Now he was sentenced to 20 years in jail. So while he was sentenced to 20 years in jail, so there's this Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board. So they were having this mass commutation program, and they decided to reduce his sentencing to 9 years. Now he stayed in prison for just 3 years, and then in 2020 he was in 2021, early 2021, after spending just 3 years out of his supposed 20 years in the Oklahoma jail, he was released. He was released January 18th, 2021, and then February 9th. Immediately he was released, he moved to this house. He moved to his auntie's house. This I think it's called the Ansanti area. He moved to his aunt's house, and this aunt is married. Her husband is 67 years old. The man's name is Leon Pai, and then Leon Pai, they have this grandchild. The grandchild came to spend the holiday with them. So he had lived with them for just 3 weeks. Like 3 weeks after coming out from the jail, February 9th, he was arrested. Now the reason February 9th he committed the murder. He went to the neighbor's apartment, he crossed the street, went to the neighbor's apartment. He got into the place. This place was occupied by one Andrea Lane Blankenship. Now this woman, she was in her apartment. She's a 41-year-old woman. Nobody knows how he got into the apartment, if they had been friends before and she invited him, or he just broke into the apartment. No one knows. So she got into the apartment, then she stabbed this woman. She stabbed her, and then she died. Now, because of that was blunt force trauma, she killed her, and then after killing her, she tried to cut her chest open. He brought out her heart, and then he took this heart, he held the heart, went across the street to the apartment, and when he got to the apartment, he prepared it, and then he diced it, and then he used it to prepare potato. He made potato porridge out of the heart, and then after making this potato porridge, he went ahead to serve his uncle, his aunt, and their grandchild. The grandchild's name is Ko. She was 6 years old as I last said. So the child's name is Ko is Yates. So she served 6 years old Yates, 7 years old Leon Pai, and she served them this potato that was made from the oil from the neighbor's heart. She said when he was asked, he said the reason he had cooked the heart was to like release the demons again that were in her heart, that he wanted to release the demon. That was why he prepared it. He cooked it in the fire, and then he served them. Then after serving them this food, like we don't really know if they ate the food, because those two, they are not alive today to verify. So after serving them this, after making this dinner out of the potato, out of the heart, he served them, and then after serving them this, he went ahead to pick a knife. He killed the Leon Pai, 67-year-old Leon Pai, his uncle, that's the aunt's husband. The aunt is the one that's related to him. So he killed him. After killing the man, he killed the grandchild, and then he attacked the aunt. He stabbed her before she was able to survive this attack. She survived. She called the cops, and the cops came. He was arrested. Immediately he was arrested, so there was this cut wound on his wrist, so he was taken for treatment. 3 days after he was taken for treatment, and he was taken to the psychiatrist to determine if he was fit to stand trial. And this man is a drug abuser, so I think probably there were like drugs in his system. So they took him out. After taking him out, they wanted to like get him a bond. I think a bond is something like that. They wanted to get him a reduction bond, maybe for grounds of insanity or something, just to reduce it. And while they were trying to get him this bond, they said in the courtroom, it was 2 days after the treatment that he decided to confess. He had told them that 3 days before he attacked his aunt, I think 3 days or a day before before attacking the uncle and the aunt, he had killed the neighbor in the next compound, and he had prepared her heart. He had prepared potato porridge. He had made potato porridge out of her heart and fed them to his uncle. So the cops decided to go into the home of Angeline Blankenship to confirm this. And then when they go to the house, yes, she was stabbed. Because of death was blunt force trauma. They checked, there was no heart. So the body was taken. Into custody, and him too. And then when he was taken into court for this bond hearing, he busted into tears then, and then he cried so much. He said he doesn't want any bond. That he doesn't want any bond. He doesn't want any reduction. Doesn't want any this thing. So from what we can say, probably he felt bad after he said he doesn't want any form of pity after what he had done, all of these things. So not much he said. We don't really know what's going on with the case now, but the court refused to grant him any kind of bail. So he's still awaiting trial. He's currently in just family trial. So that's it for me today, guys, on Anderson Paul.